Welcome to Dance Mogul Magazine. My name is Anthony Harris. I'm here now with choreographer, dancer, actor, Mr. Anthony Burrell. I just want to say thank you for taking the time. I know you're very busy with your career and your different charity things you're doing, so I just want to say, thank you for me personally to sit down and talk to me on behalf of the magazine.
Absolutely, man.
All right. Let's see. Where do I start? I want to be taken on a journey from your perspective of dance and you getting into it as a young man and just thriving and excelling to where you just have this great career that other young African American young males need to know about, and that they can see you as, wow, Mr. Burrell took that route, I can go that route too. So that ultimately that's what you've done. You've created a lane for yourself, but other people can travel through it now because you've succeeded thus far. Mm-hmm. So if you could start off by just telling me what it was like, growing up here in Philly.
Well, growing up here in Philly, one was a challenge in itself. I guess growing up in the inner city, I grew up in the heart of South Philadelphia, where it's just rough. Mm-hmm. It's rough like any hood. So to grow up in a hood and to take ballet and dance class, it's like, whoa, that's an oxymoron, because that just doesn't happen, especially as an African-American male, black little boy running around these streets taking a ballet class. It's just unheard of. But I got into dance through a community organization, Point Breeze Performing Arts Center in South Philly, and I got a scholarship through Sigma Foundation. Sigma Foundation gave me a scholarship to the whole entire summer for free. And after that summer program, the director of the school offered me a scholarship to come back for the fall and spring. And I lucked up on a dance program because Sigma gave me an option to go from dance camp or sports camp. But the sports camp started at 7:30 in the morning, but the dance camp started at 9:30. And it was summer vacation, so I was like, of course I'm gonna sleep in and do a little dance step. And so that's how I actually got into intrigued to dance in the first place. 12.
Okay.
12 years old. From that, they asked me to stay, and I joined the junior company. Had no idea about dance really, but I just had a natural rhythm. And eventually, as time went on, eventually, like I just became this thing that focused. Like dance was my only focus at that point, because I saw how I was progressing, and it became this thing that was just so natural and so easy for me. And I grew up in a single family home, with a drug addicted parent, so that became my motivation to kind of get out the hood. I saw how fast I was excelling, and I saw the attention I was getting, and I started to notice like people noticing me. So it was just like, okay, this is something, I'm onto something. So I just dove into my dancing, start taking modern, start taking jazz, the hip hop. I didn't quite get into ballet until I was 16. And I got a scholarship at Pennsylvania Ballet. I called up, I realized I was getting good. And I always heard people say, ballet is the foundation of dance. And I called up Pennsylvania Ballet myself and reached out to the directors, that I was interested in coming to the school. And they granted me a scholarship for the summer. Went for a couple of weeks and hated it, quit 3 weeks in. But the next summer I did the same thing, I wanted to go back and I wanted to try a little bit harder. From Pennsylvania Ballet, came here to Philadelphia, and Philadelphia took me in as a young man, a young dancer. At that young age, a teacher at 14, my teacher showed me Alvin Ailey on Revelations on a videotape. And from the videotape, like, I knew immediately that was something where I had to be there. That was me. I immediately saw Anthony as an Alvin Ailey dancer, looking at Fix Me Jesus and the man holding the woman up in his arms. Like, I can still remember to this day, because it was like, wow, it was a revelation for me. Like, this is what I want to do. And everyone always told me that Philadelphia was, the Philadelphia version of Alvin Ailey, New York's version of Alvin Ailey. And I immediately came here and started working and started training. taking Horton classes and Graham classes and looking at professional dancers and molding myself after these dancers that have been dancing and performing around the world. And, they became my motivation. From here, I went to University of the Arts, studied at the University of the Arts, did a year there, met Judith Jamison at an event. She was receiving an award in Philadelphia. And my kids from the community center, Point Breeze, Performing Arts Center in Philly, they performed. So I was like, you know what? She's the director of Alvin Ailey, the place where I want to go. So I put on some tights and I did a little solo. And lo and behold, she stopped the whole event, came outside and talked to me, told me to come up to New York and I should audition for Ailey. Did that, and I got into the second company of Alvin Ailey.
So it sounds like from the beginning you were, self-empowering yourself and just creating your own opportunities.
I think that I saw opportunity in dance. Like I auditioned for my first movie like 6 months after I first started dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I saw like that window, that escape boat.
Mm-hmm.
It became one of those things where like I didn't really have many options. So that was my only option, and I saw people giving me and feeding me the energy that I was good. So I ran with it.
Did you catch any flack from your peers? Not only just with the ballet, just dance in general, because coming up, it's like, oh, you dancing, that's corny, man.
The crazy thing about that is yes, and I have a great story because my first performance at the Performing Arts Center, we were outside at a street festival, and I had to wear like a white leotard and white tights and a devil tail and a devil stick in my hand, and I was running around, and my friends was like, ew, you gay, you're a faggot, you're a punk, and I got teased for a long time because, I had on tights, and I was a boy in the hood and everyone, so you be like, you that gay boy that dance, yada, yada, yada. Fast forward.
Did that hurt?
Of course it hurt. I mean, it were things that like, it almost shunned me away from dance because it was like, the South Philly community is small. We all go to school together, so, I was teased and it hurt, and but I was also teased that my mom was a crackhead, so it was like those are the motivations that make me work harder and make me go above and beyond to be better than all the boys and all the girls in the class, because I'm like, I'm going to make something out of myself. I'm going to be an Alvin Ailey, one day, and it happened because I persevered and I was determined to let that negativity be a positive. All that negative was turned into a positive because I didn't allow the peer pressure of my peers calling me names to run me away from dance, or it motivated me. It really like burned a fire inside of me that ignited and caused me to just like go have it, go crazy.
Were you good academically too?
Yeah, of course. I went to not University of the Arts, but before University of the Arts, I went to Franklin Learning Center, which is still one of, an academic excellence school where you have to maintain an 80% average to stay in the school, a B average. I studied dance and technology there. So, the school was basically dance, technology, and sciences. And dance was my major, technology was my minor.
Of course you probably were practicing every day, at home, but as far as how, like at the dance schools, they have, come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. Like, how many days were you actually digging in and really, honing in on your craft once you were really taking it seriously?
I mean, once I was in high school, I realized that dance was something that I wanted to do seriously. Like it was, so every day I would go to school, we have 2 hours of dance in the morning. I would leave school around 3, go straight to dance school at 4, and be there till about 9 o'clock.
Wow.
And that was about 5 days a week. Saturdays and Sundays would be rehearsal days, and I would be at the dance school probably teaching from 9 in the morning, and then I would end my classes around 6 or 7, and that was every day through high school. And my teachers told me it takes 10,000 hours to be a professional of any kind. So I really did take that seriously, and every single day I was in the studio no less than 5 hours a day.
And how did you develop socially with that? Because, clearly if you're dedicating so much time to that,
I mean, my friends became my brothers and sisters and my, confidants. Like you just
in dance class.
Yeah, and dance,
Okay.
and dance. Like you learn dances from each studio, this studio, during performances. It's like, I have friends in high school, but this become my tight knit family because this is who I spend most of my time with all the time. We're in front of a mirror. We know each other's bodies. We lift each other. We sweat on each other. So, my dance family has always been my closest friends.
So when we fast forward to Alvin, does the regimen change as far as is it more serious now, or is it more intense as far as the training? What was different from the level at Ailey as opposed to what you had been receiving prior to that?
The only thing, the regiment stayed the same, because training here at Philadelphia and University of the Arts were the training ground for me to go to New York. I took the same techniques here that I know I needed to be in Ailey, and once I got there, it was just like, I smooth sailing because everything I needed, I learned here at Philadelphia, and I learned here at University of the Arts. I had the best teachers that had the, like amazing careers, and they didn't only teach, but they had a career. They understood what it was to be a performer.
I know you said there was the peer pressure and then your living situation. Was there any other hardships that you encountered during that whole process, from a young man all the way up to Ailey? Like any injury, anything you had to overcome during those times?
I think just overcoming growing up as a black man in the hood, growing up on a fixed income with drug addicted parents, that's enough for a kid to deal with, And not being the oldest brother, I had my responsibility to be a big brother and to provide, because there wasn't really a male figure in the family, well, in my life that much, that actually lived in the house with me until I was adopted at 14, and I moved with the people that owned the studio. So, now having a father is something, you don't understand the luxury of having two parents unless you really experience it, And once I moved with the Browns, the owner of the Point Breeze Performing Arts Center, I realized I was really missing out on life without having two parents, and and I think that was a struggle for myself, and I feel like I missed a lot of lessons, not growing up with the father. So that's why I try to be the best dad I can now to my little girl.
Understand. All right, so we up at Ailey now, and what's happening at Ailey, in between Ailey and you getting your big break as far as commercially in the industry?
So at Ailey, I'm excelling. I'm a star there. They love me. I'm young. I'm something fresh. I'm from Philly, same place the artistic director's from, and I'm thriving. And we get a phone call from my idol, Desmond Richardson, for guys that were 6 feet to come and try something with Beyonce. And I went over to Radio City on my lunch break, and Frank Gatson, Beyonce's choreographer, asked me a question. He said, "Are you a dancer?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a dancer." He was like, "Show me something." So I did like a tilt or something where I stretched my leg up, and immediately he took me to Beyonce, and I showed her what I could do, and he was in awe basically, and he allowed me to do the performance. That was my first break into the commercial world, the 2003 MTV Awards with Beyonce. She came out the ceiling, and I was dressed in all black, like liquid man outfit with Frank Gatson called it, where we head to toe in tights, and we just like rubbing around her and moving around her, and it was a great experience. And from that, Frank kept in contact with me and kept calling me out to do stuff with Beyonce. And eventually, I got the bug for the commercial world, and I left Alvin Ailey mid-contract and went on a European tour with Beyonce and shot a DVD with her.
Wow. Now, while you were in New York, and as a dancer, you pretty much do everything dance. Were you familiar with the New York scene as far as going out to the clubs? Were you that type of dancer too? Would you go out in dance, you know, to have fun with it, you know, in the
You know
clubs
what?
and stuff too?
I think my fun came in the studio. My fun came in performing. Like, so I was never the type to go clubbing or anything. I was always focused on that prize, you know, because, you know, once I started making money for it and able to provide for my family, like, it's like it was a fire that just wouldn't go out. You know, it kept burning and burning and burning, and I kept wanting to be better than myself and wanting to be better than the last job I had.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm never ever stopping because I'm always trying to better myself.
Did your family understand, like, did they comprehend once you had got the Beyonce gig? Like, did they understand what had happened for you, or were you still disbelieving?
My family already knew when I got to Alvin Ailey because it was something prestigious. It was something that I've always wanted and I've always talked about in my life. So once I got to Alvin Ailey, it became this thing, like, because I was traveling the world, and you know, for me to come from South Philly to be all the way in Australia and Athens, Greece, and you know, Germany, like, it was just unheard of. It was unheard of for me to do the things I've done and to only be 19, 20 years old.
Okay, now we're with Beyonce. You're getting commercial opportunities now. Now, clearly, this is a whole nother level that you're prepared for, but it's a whole nother level. Can you give someone younger, like, a glimpse into what that life is like preparing for an overseas tour, or just, you know, a video shoot? Can you give them some background information as far as not just the dance being prepared, but just having the right attitude on set and just, you know, really being professional?
Okay. Well, working with an artist like Beyonce herself is just, it's an honor because you see a person that works. Yeah, I mean, no matter where she is in her career, she works, and she works for perfection, and she works for, you know, to have the best lighting, the best staging, the best directors, the best videographers. Like, everyone has to be the best in their field because the product that she gives as an artist is just unimaginable and undescribable because it's always 100%, you know, and that's what I've learned from her, is to always give 100% and beyond, you know, always exhaust yourself, because there's always someone that's working harder to try and be you and that will be better than you, and so you just always have to give your all 100% of the time. And, you know, a tour rehearsal can go from 12 noon to 12 midnight, you know, all day rehearsing and putting in the work. If it's not learning a step, it's trying on wardrobe. If it's not trying on wardrobe, it's doing video content, you know, shooting stuff that goes on the video screens. If it's not shooting video content, it's, you know, it's just always something to be done. You know, there's never a moment where you're just sitting around and relaxing, especially for a big tour, because there's too much money that's invested in these tours. So everything has to be perfect. So as a dancer, I never believe in just sitting around and having time. There's always something to be worked on. There's always something to clean. You know, it's just no time. Like, you wanna be the dancer that Beyonce wants on her shoulder, because you're like killing it so hard in the back that she wants you there, because it's going to pick her up and pull her up and make her a better dancer. So, like, you know, preparing for a tour, it's a never-ending process, you know, and you never ever stop working on that, especially for, you know, that stage thing, because it's something that being on stage and performing is something that you can't perfect, because it's different every single night. So, I mean, you can give 100% full-out rehearsal, but once you get on that stage, you learn something new every single time you're out there, because every single audience is different. Every single interaction with the artist is different. Every single interaction with the co-dancer is different. So something will happen live, something different every single night, and it just contributes to you as an artist and as a performer.
How important is it to have the right attitude?
I mean, it's always important to have the right attitude, because people, like, you know, people look at me like I have a bad attitude because I'm always quiet. you know, and I'm big and I'm black, so people are always like, oh, you a big evil black man. No, I'm to myself, I'm quiet, and if I say hello, and if that's all I have to say, that's all I have to say. You know, I just like to stay to myself because I believe in being the star and being the artist myself. You know, you don't have to say too much, you don't have to do too much. It reflects in my work, you know, so I just think it's good to be polite, mannerable, and, you know, professional. And it's just by staying to yourself and not being catty, chatty, talking to the artist too much, trying to be in people's face. You don't have to be seen. You be seen by, you know, by dancing your heart out on stage.
Also, working under Frank and other individuals, that comes with taking dictation. How do you handle that, and what is your advice to young people in regards to that? You know, handling someone telling you what to do. Because, you know, a lot of people, oh, you can't tell me what to do. You know, just different things like that. What is your advice?
I grew up being told what to do. I'm always a student. I'm always learning. So I'm always willing to accept information, especially from someone that's older than me and that's been in the business, like Frank, you know, or Joe Myers-Brown here at Philadelphia. People that have information and that just live longer than me. I don't care if they're wrong. I'm going to learn and listen. You know, I may have a rebuttal or I may disagree and I'll get my point across, but I'm still going to listen and listen to the philosophies and the you know, the methods, and, you know, of course I'm open to everything.
I want you to take me into the realm of dance and the profession, not only just the commercial side, but, you know, the teaching side, because you also do that too now. You know, you teach. Can you tell me about what you think, you know, a teacher, you know, should be teaching the kids nowadays, and, you know, as far as giving them the real as far as dance?
As a teacher, myself, I'm still a dancer, a choreographer, and as well. I'm an educator because I'm still learning myself. So I like to teach kids what it takes to be a performing artist, what it takes to, you know, be a commercial dancer, what it takes to be a concert dancer. You know, I'm still living in it on stage, performing myself on tours right now. So I'm in the know, I'm in the field. Like I've experienced it, so I can talk about it. You know, I'm not just one of the people that teach combinations, you know, and don't give a warm up. Like I'm all about the beginning, the middle, and the end. You know, it's not about just the big wham bam combination. You know, there's philosophies and there's information that I'm forced to give because it's just things that were given to me as a young dancer. You know, I feel like there's so much information that's been compressed in me that as a dancer now, I'm not only speaking through my performance abilities, but I'm able to see people's bodies and as an educator and a teacher and see what's wrong and almost like a doctor and fix it and say, okay, tilt your neck this way or do something this way. And dancers, you know, that come from off these TV shows don't have that information because they're still students and they're still learning, you know, because they have that exposure of television. You're known to the masses to be a dancer, but being a good dancer doesn't make you a good teacher.
Now, how do you think that lane is just able to thrive, though? Because you're not the only one who said that. We've met plenty of people who say the same thing. How is that lane, I understand how it's created, you know, perception, you know, media, but how is it able to thrive if everybody knows that's the wrong thing,
But
even these studios?
people don't know. That's the thing, people don't know. I mean, people will talk about it, but because they're on TV, the kids want to be close to them because they've been on TV. And that star of them being on TV makes them valuable, you know, because they become an idol for these kids. And these kids just want to meet that person that was just on So You Think You Can Dance or America's Best Dance Crew or Dancing with the Stars. You know, so they're a star in their mind. So I don't think it really factors to them that they know they may not be good teachers, but they've been on TV. And when you're on TV, you're like this glorified thing.
I sure understand. Now, fast forward and you've had tons of commercial success. What does it all mean to you now that you've had the success and you're still having it? What does it mean to you now to be able to come back home and, do certain things? Because I know you're doing certain charitable things, and I think when I met you maybe like 2 years ago, you said you wanted to start doing that. So now here we are 2 years later, and you're actually doing, charitable things. So tell us a little bit about that.
I started Breaking Barriers, which is a dance intensive, focusing on commercial and concert dance, making the concert dancer been able to break, making them able and confident enough to break into the commercial world, and giving the commercial dancer the technical information that they need to thrive in the commercial business. Because commercial isn't always just hip hop dance. So I created Breaking Barriers to give the kids the confidence, the encouragement, the information of a resume, a bio, a reel, how to eat to maintain a healthy looking body, because our body is our instrument and our vehicle in this business. So, if our vehicle is broke down, we're not going to get no work, because that's how we work, So creating Breaking Barriers is like a baby to me, because it's like I'm giving my 100% to the next generation of dance, and building them and giving them confidence and giving them technique and giving them some of the things that I've learned and acquired with some of these stars of, just performance, about performance and about being fearless and about just doing it. Like, there's nothing to it but to just do it. Like, yeah, your parents don't want you to dance. Who cares? You want to dance. That's all that matters. Go to school, go to college, do what they want you to do, but you don't have to stop dancing. If you want to dance, you're going to dance. It wasn't an option for me. It wasn't a plan A or plan B. It was my only plan,
Where do you see it in 10 years as far as Breaking Barriers?
Breaking Barriers is going to be a school. Breaking Barriers is an academy. Breaking Barriers is a production company. Breaking Barriers is an agency, a dance agency. Breaking Barriers has its, multi-million-dollar building with green screen capability, where with a recording studio, where I have a production company where these students come in, it's an academy where they dance, they sing, they act. They take aerial lessons, they do film production, so it'll be a one-stop shop for recording artists. You can come shoot your video, get some dancers, it's an agency, like it's everything, it's everything.
What would be your best advice that you can offer a young person right now with all that you've accumulated with your success with dance? What is the best piece of advice that you can give them right now?
The 3Ds is something my teacher told me. Dedication, determination, and discipline. And I remember being in the studio one day, him cursing me out, and telling me, these people can tease you, call you gay, call you you're a fag, you can all whatever, just all this name calling. Yes, they will call you that, but you have a talent, you have something special, and with dedication, determination, and discipline, you're bound to do whatever you want to do. And I always remember that, and I followed that, and I believe it's part of my success, because I never ever let anybody take anything from me. When I knew how talented I was, and I saw how people invested in my talent by nurturing it and spotlighting it, and giving me the confidence, confident, and stay confident. It's nothing like a person that's confident. Even if you don't have the new Jordans or the best clothes or the best technique or the best dancer, you are the only you. So you can be the best you by being just confident. You don't have to have the highest legs. You don't have to have the best pirouettes. It's something that's within you that nobody can take from you. So you being the best you is just you being the most confident you.
Okay. With Anthony Burrell becoming a household name, what would you want those households to know about you? Like, sum you up in a sentence or two. What and who is Anthony Burrell?
Anthony Burrell is a passionate dancer, choreographer, actor that loves what he does.
And is there anyone that you would like to thank for helping you on your journey?
There's so many people to thank throughout this journey. Like, it's my mother, my family, Joan Brown at Philadelphia, Donna Brown from Point Breeze, Alvin Ailey, Beyonce, Frank Gatson, you know, my daughter, like just my people that motivate me, my friends, my peers, my colleagues, like the dance community, you know, it's just my cousin Michael Hammond that put me on Dance Moms and the TV shows. It's like, it's just so many people that are involved that play a part of my growth. God, you know, it's like the list goes on and on. My grandmother that's not here, like just people that have been here that helped me throughout my life and my career in dance, and that have pushed me beyond my own measures, you know, that I've never even thought out be in some of these places and experience some of these experiences that I've experienced. So I'm just forever grateful and forever thankful for you guys, you know, taking the time to listen to my story and to allow me to motivate others. You know, you're a vehicle for the next generation of dance that is going to allow young men, young women to see someone that looks like them, someone that acts like them, someone that has the same, you know, growing up history, you know. Like, you're going to give someone that hope and that inspiration, you know, to continue. And, you know, it's amazing that you guys are doing this for the community, the dance community, you know.
Thank you. I also want to touch the fact that, you know, you're part of one of the trailblazers as far as, you know, dance reaching the reality shows and things like that, as far as, you know, Dance Moms. Can you tell us a little bit about that and Raising Asia? Because, you know, that's pretty big, you know, for you to have those opportunities and for you to, you know, have the role and play the role that you played on those shows.
Yeah, the shows were fun, you know. My cousin is a producer on the show, and he suggested that I send them my information. I went in for an interview just like everyone else, and they love me. They love my history, they love my background, and they love how passionate I was about dance. And in reality TV, that's all it takes, is someone that's firm in what they believe to be a good character on TV. And I was that passionate, artistic guy, you know, that really cared. And on every show that I was on, I did the I started with Abbott's Ultimate Dance Competition, which led me to, you know, to Dance Moms, and then back to Abbott's Ultimate Dance Competition, Season 2, and Raising Asia, which followed the life of one of the dancers from Abbott's Ultimate Dance Competition, Season 1. And Asia is an amazing talent. She's an 9-year-old girl that, you know, is breaking down barriers. You know, she's fearless, she's confident, she's talented, like super talented. And her parents, you know, they love me and they keep me around because they know I know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's a great experience working on TV, because not only am I, you know, choreographing and showing my ability to the masses, but, you know, people are seeing the real me and seeing how I really interact in the studio.
Do you see yourself having your own show?
Yeah. I'm in the works. So I'm working on a development or something, developing my own show. I want to be depicted in the right light, you know, because sometimes editing and with these TV shows can make you look like Scrooge McDuck, and they can make you look like anybody you know who they want you to be. So just working on the right formula to have a great positive show. I don't want to be taken to court in 5 years down the line.
Yeah. So do you see that as a viable lane for dance? Because, you know, at first it was like a double-edged sword. Like, you know, it gave the success too fast and created a false sense of reality. But also for someone like yourself, if they put you out there, it's like, okay, well, now they promote the truth.
I think you can, I mean, like, people, it's all about the character, what you really believe in. Like, if like Abby Lee Miller, I don't think she knows what she's talking about half the time, you know, but she has a great personality for TV, you know, so that works. So it's all about, if you have the information, you have it. If not, you just don't. You're just a good personality. Reality TV is about the personality. It's not about the talent. Luckily, I have the talent and the personality, so it kind of works.
Gotcha. Well, Anthony, I just want to say personally, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, for the time, you know, these words are going to stand the test of time. You know, me, my daughter, anybody else will be able to come back to this moment in time that we're doing this to reference, well, I need some inspiration, or, well, I need some information, I need some reassurance about what I'm doing as far as dancing. They'll be able to come back and reference people like you, like Frank, so many other great people. You guys are going to fall in line with the Gene Kellys, the Frank Sinatra, but it's going to be from our perspective, so we can have some heroes, so we can have our own dance, Mount Rushmore.
I believe those days are coming back. Like, dance is going to make us stars like Gene Kelly and Shiz Therese and, Ginger Rogers. I think those days are coming back because dance is it's spotlighted on, it's on a pedestal right now and it's all over TV. So I believe we have the power to be the stars.
It's stimulating the economy.
Yeah, of course.
People really, that's why so many teachers out there and stuff now, because it's a way to all right, well, I'm having trouble, let me just teach, So, but you guys deserve it. People like you and, people that really have been honing in on the craft for 10 plus years, 15, 20 years, you guys deserve it. It's that background stuff, that was then, and it played its role then.
It's all a role. Like I said, being in the foreground in Alvin and then going to the background with Beyonce, I'm still prestigious.
Yeah.
I'm still holding the title because front or background, I'm a star wherever I am on stage. You can put me in the corner, I'm still going to shine. So front ground, background, call it whatever you want to. It's just like, I'm going to shine bright regardless.
It's because you value yourself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
No problem.
We
Thank you, man.
appreciate it.